In this world, angels live among us. Many great invincible beings of immeasurable power, a bridge between us and the gods. These creatures are not as you might imagine them. While some are human-like in their appearance, most are alien. A sitting mountain, a giant boar, a hovering sphere. Each of the angels provides a powerful boon to the surrounding area and its inhabitants. They do not speak to us. They do not move. We built our world around them. They shaped our cultures. We rely on them. Until something dark came along. Now, one by one, the angels have been slain. The people of the lands around them slaughtered. A wave of death is spreading across our world. Only a few places remain as a final bastion of life. Only a few against an endless horde of oblivion. And within these few, a single band of unlikely heroes, bound by forces beyond their understanding. In this world, there is only a single word that describes their soul-bound connection.
Not that one, that one. The Nolands Forest. A desolate sort of memory of itself is where the party finds themselves, a sort of a place where all life has been drained out and away, leaving only a sort of haunting silence. The trees are skeletal, blackened husks. Their branches are all twisted and bare. The ground is covered in a thick layer of ashen soil that sifts beneath every step. There are stagnant pools of water that sort of shimmer with a sort of maybe poisonous iridescent sheen. There are no animals, there are no insects. There is a bizarre sort of silence, other than any movement that you guys are making. The air is heavy with decay, and a sort of pervasive sense of loss lingers here, as if the very soul of the forest has been consumed. We left off because it's been 2 sessions, because last week we did actually go to this place that I accidentally showed us, the Watchtower of the Past. Previously you had left the mountain, you'd moved through and under the mountain with Bibble and the Darrow, and he seemed to be convinced basically that you would not be able to find the place that you're looking for. What you are looking for is known as the House of Knowledge. It's also known as the Nolands Forest, which is spelt with a K at the top of it, but yours is, the one that you're in is the Nolands, N-O-Lands, which is the forest that sort of sits outside of this this other, much more secret forest, which contains the angel that you are looking for, which is the angel that belongs to the god Ogma, which is a knowledge-based god and a knowledge-based angel, presumably, hidden and inaccessible to mortals. Most mortals, really. But generally speaking, it is a place that no one has really ever been to. at the beginning of the campaign, you set the task to go either west and try and find, I guess, power and strength by looking for the Angel Even tier, or heading the other way and looking for knowledge. You chose knowledge, and your travel has brought you all the way across the north of the sort of the Pangea that the world is made up of, through a mountain and into this forest. Somewhere in this forest is another hidden forest, presumably hidden behind some sort of magical barrier or something like that. But the forest around you is completely barren, completely dead. The area does not have its own angel. This is just and was always just a sort of a pretty basic forest on the outskirts of several different connecting areas of the world, and different kingdoms as well, border along this. Based on sort of what Bibble told you, you're probably in the northern area of this forest, but where this House of Knowledge is, where the secret forest is, how to access it, for that you have no information whatsoever. None. It is purely at this point sort of a guesswork question, and an approach that you're going to need to probably come up with and figure out as a group, or else stumble your way forward, either successfully or unsuccessfully. And that's just a little catch up as to where we were. We sort of left you off the two. You were sort of split in twos. Two of you walked away from the other two while they had a conversation. But generally, I'm not saying that you're not like fully split up, like the party have completely split. Two of you have gone all the way to one side of the world, and two of you gone to the other. You're still in the sort of area here, with there being no like creatures, and no noise really. The area that you're in does seem completely desolate and dead. But that's not to say that there isn't things in here, as you know full well that there is a lot of, it's not, while the world seems to have been slowly decaying, and sort of pretty swiftly killed off really, from the influence of this invading force, presumably this angel, that you've sort of had some brief sort of encounters with. It doesn't mean that he hasn't sort of been amassing his own army of undead. You've encountered lots of undead creatures. So while the forest remains quiet and seemingly empty of life, it isn't necessarily empty of things that can get you and kill you and attack you. But as it sits right now, it seems like you're in a relatively sort of safe environment. There doesn't appear to be anything coming for you. Most of the undead creatures that have come after you have been just sort of like mindless lizard folk. You've obviously encountered at least one creature with the vampire that doesn't seem to fit that bill. But right now, you are free to progress or discuss or plan or bicker and argue to your heart's content. What would you like to do, and what are you all doing? And at this point, do you have any other questions for me as well? Since we're doing a little catch-up. Questions that I can actually answer before you ask me how to kill the big bad evil guy.
I think that I would have looked around at this dead land and tried to climb the nearest and tallest tree to see if I could perhaps see what's further afield.
Yeah, okay. I assume you're good at climbing trees.
Yes, of course. Well, climbing in general.
Okay. Being from underground, why wouldn't you be?
Well, I mean, being from underground, I mean, the things I climb are maybe perhaps a bit less sure than a tree.
Yeah, I'm just going to give you a free, you can climb for free. You don't need to make a check, but make me a perception check.
A 24.
24. What are you looking for in particular?
First of all, to see how high I could climb, and then once I did so, to see what I can see. How far does this dead expanse go on for, and does there seem to be any particular way forward? We've left this entrance, this vaulted cave, and been pointed in the general direction where we're going. And so I wanted to see if perhaps, well, does the landscape change at all? And if so, can I tell where we're supposed to be going?
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty tall tree. You spend a little while climbing up, making your way up the branches. Every now and then a branch kind of that looks sturdy and thick will break underfoot. The tree it's almost as if a wildfire spread through this place. But it's worse than that. The life has been quite literally pulled from these trees, as well as everything else, the grass, the foliage. So the trees are really brittle, considering their size, and considering how recently they died. But you're able to climb up it regardless. It's not that hazardous, and you're able to take your time. You're not rushing or anything like that. Once you get to the top of this, your sort of drow eyes are able to adjust pretty well to the surroundings, and see a little further maybe than if you had sort of typical human eyes or halfling or something like that. And yeah, what you see around you, for a good few miles before maybe your vision. I think the human eye can see about a mile. I don't know what an elf or a drow might be able to see, but I would imagine a few miles before the, potentially curvature and science starts getting involved. But you can see a huge expanse of mountainside based off of the map that you've got from Thor's. It's probably north of you, the mountainside that you came out of. You've probably only walked a little way from it, so you know that this is the Wendigo Peaks mountainside. And it wraps around and actually continues southwards. So you have the north and northwest of you pretty much exclusively blocked off. There's really no forest there whatsoever. The forest does continue a little north and northeast. It pushes out pretty far to the east. In fact, it pushes out probably as far as your eyes can see to the east. Maybe in the very, very far distance you can see more mountains all the way over in the east. But south of you, there's nothing but forest. And northeast of you, there's nothing but forest. And I guess east, there's nothing but forest until you can just about make out some mountains maybe in the distance. As far as you can tell, the whole thing is dead. Doesn't appear to be any real change to the landscape. There are dips every now and then that you might make for a meadow or something like that, but the trees look blackened. There's no like green foliage. You don't catch any sort of autumnal browns or anything like that. Just nothing but dead trees after dead trees after dead trees, an endless dead forest that spreads out pretty much in every direction from where you're looking. I would imagine that you're looking for one, maybe like a pocket of vibrance or vitality. But you see nothing really but deadness.
Is it cold?
Is it cold? I would say it's not warm. You're still quite far north. This would have once been a sort of evergreen forest. But it is summer. It's sort of spring. So you, compared to the cold that you've been suffering through and living in for the last, year or so, not really. I wouldn't say it's warm either, though.
I divert my attention from the surroundings down towards my compatriots and observe. And I think I'll stay up here for a while.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything in particular?
Well, I think that Jordan had just walked off after an argument with Cirrus about her god. Is that correct? No. I think I'm following her as well, right?
Yeah, you sort of wandered after Jildan. Thrak and Cirrus were a little bit further back. But I mean, you're not that far away from each other that you're not able to shout back to one another or whatever.
Okay.
If you
So
want
what's Jordan doing then?
I'm wondering, muttering to myself. Every now and then I'm going past a tree with my staff and tapping on it and kind of poking at things and just walking in a circle, essentially.
Jordan?
Presumptuous people. They know everything. What do they know? What do they know about anything? Anyway, nothing. And as you watch me, I seem to be looking around furtively. Like looking out for something, perhaps, or just a little bit nervous of my surroundings. Ridiculous.
Jordan?
What do you want?
Why are you so upset?
I'm not upset.
Clearly.
Yes, well, it takes a lot for you to talk. Mr. Grumpy. There was something wrong with you, isn't there? I was in a bad mood.
Well, I wonder what horrible thing your god did to you to risk the entire world just to be angry with them.
I turn to him slowly.
So this is what I mean. You're so presumptuous. You think you know everything, don't you? That's all you know. Pain, is that it? That's all you have in your past, pain. It was shaped by everything you've been through. When was you happy, Thrak? Do you remember being happy?
I remember being content.
And what was it that made you content?
Quiet. Once I got used to it.
We all deserve to be happy. Even you, even Cirrus, even that wretch up there.
I look up at Seer in the tree.
I wave back with a broken branch.
But I deserve happiness too.
And in all your travels, have you not found it?
Happiness is the prize that awaits me at the end.
In
Nothing else
death?
matters. I'm not afraid of death, but I'm not looking for it either. Is that what you think this is?
No. I think that you are so obsessed with finding this happiness that you believe you deserve. You are willing to sacrifice everything and everyone there's ever been or ever will be.
I take in a deep breath, as if to shout something at him, and then I stop and stare him in the eye.
The world can be turning to ash for all I care.
Is that true?
Yes.
Why do you think that you're here then?
I don't know. And if I had any choice in it, quite frankly, I wouldn't be. But this is my best chance of survival, so I'm here.
I see.
I'm not a noble warrior. I'm not a savior. I can barely even keep on my own 2 feet most of the time. It's a miracle I've even survived this far. But it's not a miracle, is it? Because I've had him by my side. Until I didn't. There's
You
nothing.
think we are all here by chance?
I don't know why we're all here. Maybe we were the only 4 people in that godforsaken place who had an ounce of sense about them. Maybe they just wanted us out of there. Maybe this is all a lie and they're all quite happy back in Moon dancing around a fireplace. All very well and good. They wanted us to leave. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe we all just decided to wear red one day and they all looked in the tavern and said, oh, those 4 will do. Get them out of here. I don't know. I don't know why I was chosen. I don't know why I have this thing on my throat. I don't deserve it. But maybe it's a sign.
Do you know how often Moon gets visitors? Do you know how rare it is for someone that looks like me to even see Moon? I'm not sure an orc has ever. I may be the first. How many of your kind do you think have stepped foot in Moon?
My kind won't even step foot outside the base of a mountain. And I'd never
Exactly.
even get that close.
And how many people like Cirrus? And even how many like that terrible excuse for a companion in a tree?
What's your point? Just think because we were all strange.
I am saying that there are forces here that are greater than us in play.
Yes,
Do you not
of
understand
course
that?
there are. That's what I'm looking for this whole time. You don't understand. The only reason I'm here is because there is something greater at play, and I will find him again. I will. He promised me.
How are you so sure that you ever lost him? How do you not think that he is who guided you to Moon?
Because he was there with me for years, so many years. I stopped counting them, I stopped caring, it didn't matter. He was by my side. And he helped me, and we did things together. Things that I could never have done alone. And then he wasn't there anymore. Do you understand what that's like to have been with somebody for so long? And for them to disappear, no trace, leave you alone. Powerless. I don't like this place.
So, you think it was just happenstance that we came together? The four of us. The most unlikely grouping ever to step into Moon all at the same time. All at the perfect time.
I didn't have to come to Moon. I don't even know why I chose to.
Exactly. You didn't.
That doesn't mean anything.
I didn't choose to come there either.
I know. Wherever I am going, it is my best chance of survival. My best chance of finding him again. I know that. That's why I'm here. Whatever you think brought us together, I didn't want to know about it. I don't want to know about your gods. I don't want to know about Sirius's gods. The way you flip between them and accept their gifts. The lack of loyalty. I don't need to know. If I was
This
brought here...
isn't about loyalty or faith.
Yes, it is. Of course it is.
No.
That's what it's always been about.
Maybe that's what it used to be about. Now it's about survival. Just as much for them as it is for us. And they are helping us because we are helping them. It's that simple. So you can accept their help and survive long enough to find what you're looking for, or you can deny it and you can watch us burn alive in front of you before your own demise.
What do you think I've been doing all this time? I've brought you all together. All of the times you've been fighting. All the times you could barely keep a civil word between you. I've been the one helping you. That's right, me, children. That's right, can't do it alone. No, it was me. I know what I'm doing, Sonny. I know.
Do you?
It might not be about faith for you. It might not be about loyalty for you. But it is for me.
I see, and you feel abandoned.
Don't presume.
Isn't that what you just told me?
I'm done with this conversation. And I walk off, continuing tapping at the trees, looking around furtively.
I will rejoin the other two.
I look down at Drac returning to Sirius, a wide smile thrown across my face and forehead. I remain upstairs. Or, up tree.
How is she?
Oh. I think she just wants to be angry. But now, we'll see.
I wish I wish I'd known better to say the right thing.
If you think there's a right thing that you can say to children, then I suppose you haven't figured it out yet. She needs to be angry. And we need to figure out where to go next.
Right. Any ideas?
We know this place is in the center of this forest, right?
Yeah.
So, can we tell where that is from here?
We head south, I think. Southwest.
Okay. let's go that way.
Okay. So awkwardly you gather your things. What's Jilden doing if everybody is sort of preparing to head southwest? Shuffling on behind
Actually,
everybody?
have a quick question for you, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Did we cover this? What do I know about Ilneus?
Yeah, we did cover it. You rolled high enough to actually know a little about Elneus. I'll refresh your memory a little bit. So, Elneus is a secret angel.
Right, okay. It's the one you do the pilgrimage to, or?
Yeah, those that do know about Elneus have to take a crazy pilgrimage to the literally the most northwestern peak. There are some mountains up there, and there's a little monastery in a little rural village, where there is an angel, which is just a sphere, just a frictionless sphere, sitting up there. And this is a sort of dream angel, but also sort of gives prophetic dreams and visions and things, which always come true. So, yeah, you're aware of what Elneus is and where it is. It's unbelievably rare that people know about it, and it is protected. It's sort of a protected angel that no one wants anyone to know about, you know.
Yeah, I think we decided Hod must have told me, like, he was just rambling on, like, oh, it's sort of like the Elneus angel, blah, 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 blah. And I just happened to remember it.
Yeah, Elneus is very much something that Hard would ramble about and then be like, oh, you can't tell anyone about that one, by the way. And then carry on.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so I'm getting all my stuff ready.
I'm foraging around in the little roots of the trees, trying to find any little tidbits I can, little twigs, chewing on them, gathering my things in my own way, and just keeping a little distance, but following anyway.
All right, roll me a d20.
Shoving twigs in your mouth in this dead place? That's rather quite
10.
brazen, no?
10, okay.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
Oh, I'm not telling you, I'm just observing.
Okay. And the plan is to sort of head southwest.
Yeah, from my recollection, that's where the center is, or the forest, Nolands Forest is.
Yeah, why do you think it's in the center of the forest?
I thought that was the information we had.
I remember the map, and I remember, like, we were coming down, and then this big forest region, and then it was, like, there in the middle. But my memory might be bad.
Okay. I mean, you still have access to the map, I think. Let's see what
Imagine I'm so wrong, it's on the other side of the world.
We took a wrong turn.
So confidently.
Our first turn, actually.
Southwest! I knew it too. I was like, as soon as I say southwest, it's going to be wrong.
I'm not saying it's
South left's where you need to go.
wrong or right.
I don't see a map on here.
Yeah, it was a place. So the map looks like it's because it's been so long. I've made so many more things. I have to like drag the thing back up here. So this is the map you were given. So, you know, he gave you an idea of where Marbell was, which is where the Angels of Death and Life are, of which one of them is notably Mordriel. And then this is the map that he's given you.
Yeah, I think
The
it's in the
House of
center.
Knowledge is. Yeah. Here's what I'll give you,
Sounds right to me.
Seer. You know what? I won't draw it with this one. I'll draw it with this one. When you were looking at the sort of area here, this is the mountain that you recognize as being the mountain that comes round and wraps around you, and you guys are backed up against. And you would guess that you guys are sort of somewhere like they're on the O.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea of where you, Seer, would place yourself on this map. So southwest of you would take you kind of down here.
Yeah. If we're at the O, then I feel like I would assume, and could very well be wrong, that it would then be northwest. Like, I'm imagining, like, right in the middle of this forest.
Northeast.
You would mean northeast.
Yeah. Northeast, yes.
Have it eat. I'll get wheat.
Shredded wheat. Yeah.
I also don't know my east and west, and I screw it up every.
Me too.
I'm
Absolutely.
so bad at it, and it
horrible.
literally is campaign ruining because it's just so important that a GM knows which way everyone's going. And I will just say the wrong ones and never know about it, and everyone's like, I thought they said they went. Yeah. So this is the map that you actually do have, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you this as a handout for just so you can reference it later on. And this thing is like really roughly sketched by Thors, by the way, as a map of the world. It's not like, you know, photorealistic quality. This looks like a Xerox. So yeah, I'll let you sort of but I don't know I don't know what info you're going off that the idea that this thing was in the center of the forest. I might have alluded to something like that just through my descriptions and things. And you, by the way, you are absolutely free to believe it is in the center of the forest. You might be right.
Yeah.
I'm just
I think
asking as
that's
to
what's
what the reasoning is behind.
I think that's just
that's
out of all of the information and all of the time that we've been doing this, that's just how Cirrus has and I have imagined it. And so I'm just going to believe that that's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's as good a guess as any, I suppose.
Like, I just kind of, you know, not to get too deep about it, but I think of like mountains have a peak and they have a center. And so it's like, yeah, it just makes sense to me that the center would be where the most important thing is.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm not telling you can't do something. I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, for sure.
So is that the plan? Is that what kind of happens here? We see you guys packing up and sort of attempting to navigate northwest.
East. Northeast.
Northeast.
We're going upright.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know why I didn't give you this as a handout now, because I think I need to annotate it. Oh no, I don't. There we go.
Have we
There it
rested
is.
recently, or did we fight those rats and then we just left?
Yeah, I don't think you have rested.
Not yet.
So whatever your things are at, spell slots and whatnot, is what you're at. The plan was to rest at the door, and then Bibble just kind of locked you out once you opened the Fallout vault door.
Yeah. I do really need a rest, if we can make it happen.
Well, you are leading the way, so if you want to rest, then point. I say, smiling sycophantically.
Alright, is everyone alright with that?
Yes. Yeah.
I pull out the bowl and set it up.
Okay. Yeah. Roll me a d24. Let's see what time it is. Anyone that watches these sessions in like a playlist on YouTube or whatever is like, well, it's probably only been about 2 hours since they left that mountain. Maybe less than that, probably about half an hour or whatever. And they rolled a d24 just before they left the mountain, and it was 5 p.m. and now for some reason it's 9. And to those people I say, I'm sorry, but for us it's been 4 weeks since they rolled that d24, and I don't know. I'm not making note of it because this is not another show of mine called Mistlight where I had to be very aware of the time all the time for no reason. So yeah, you pull out the sheltering bowl, you utter the words. I don't remember what the magic word was, but you had a hilarious magic word.
Go.
Magic bowl or something.
Go magic bowl.
Go magic spoon. Today's episode is sponsored by Magic Spoon. Use code Tablestory to get 15% off. No, not really. Maybe. Whack.
Bedroom.
This
Wait,
is how
you
we
can
get
spoons
that.
here?
That's how we get the Magic Spoon sponsor. We
Need that
literally have
magic
a
spoon sponsor.
magic
I'll even eat it.
You have Magic
even
Spoon
eat that.
in the game for no reason whatsoever inside of the bowl.
I'll eat it live.
Yeah, we just keep plying you full of Magic Spoon. You have to eat it constantly for the full episode.
The whole time I just have to be eating.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Okay, yeah, you put down the bowl. The bowl creates a dome that you all crawl inside, and you're able to relax and sleep, rest, eat, trance, whatever it is that you need to do. My voice is going this week. I don't know why. I think it might be hay fever. So I'm sorry for my voice slowly doing this throughout the entire session and probably vanishing by the end of it. The thing with this forest is that it is quite dangerous. So I need you to roll me a d12. I know that you're safe in your bowl, but it doesn't mean there isn't stuff sniffing around outside of it. Who wants to be the encounter
I already
roll
did
person? It's Cirrus.
10.
Okay.
Oh no.
What's that mean? What's a 10 mean?
Oh, no.
Was it a
I don't
D10?
know.
I think I
What
might
it-
be able
what
to
does it
do
mean?
something fucking weird for this.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys will gain the benefits of a long rest here. You can rest for the full 8 hours that the bowl is up. Nothing attacks the bowl or anything like that. However, I do think that some of you may pick up on something. Let's have... In fact, what are your passive perceptions? Give me your passive perceptions. Give me those numbers. I'll use those.
16.
14.
15.
I'm so sorry.
So
It's on the
passive,
left
yeah.
of skills.
Your skills, yeah.
Oh, 17.
17.
She's wise.
Beyond her years.
All right, give them to me again. A 17 for
16.
Cirrus, 16 for you.
It goes straight down. 17, 16, 15, 14. I'm pretty sure.
17, 16, 15, 14. Okay. just need to check the... okay, 15, 16, and 17 make me active perception checks.
I rolled a 19.
23.
25. 25.
I'm just reading. In the
No, these
corner.
are all good.
Relaxing.
During this time, while you're resting, the three of you recognize that the dead trees about you are whispering to you.
I thought I heard that.
I thought I heard whispers.
Do you hear that as well?
Yes.
What's that?
It appears that things might not be all as dead as we might have once thought.
Whispers.
Do the whispers sound familiar?
To you, they should, Leah. But you can give me an insight check as Jill then.
14.
Not really, no. No, it just sounds weird as you pick up on it, and maybe your senses pick up on it. The three of you that can hear it, even if you mention it to Thrak is unable to hear this. It's Thrak that got the 14, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that's right. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
He's quite literally not on the wavelength. So just be aware that even if they mention this or that they're hearing it, Thrak, you're just not hearing anything. Whatever they're talking about is just not happening for you.
Am I able to source one of the whispers? Are they coming from a specific tree? Is one particular whisper coming from one particular tree?
Give me
Or is
an
it from just
investigation
around?
check. And then explain to me how you might be sort of trying to figure this out.
I rolled a 14 for investigation, and how I try and figure this out is simply to approach a tree and listen. And
Yep.
well, if I happen to hear a whisper coming from said dead, brittle tree, I will punch a hole through it.
Okay. You do hear a whisper coming from this tree. You also get the sense that it's coming from the other trees around here as well. Entirely up to you if you want to punch a hole through the tree. But I will tell you, it has no effect on the whisper. It continues to whisper. The whisper seems to be coming from the trees about you. All of the trees in this area seem to be kind of whispering in a completely unknown language. It's just very hard to make out what they're saying. It doesn't sound like they're really saying any words, but it definitely sounds as though they are whispering a language. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like they're just making a sort of noise or the wind is passing through the branches oddly.
I
Certainly
strike it
feels
to
like
see if
something
the
that-
sound changes.
Yeah, you sort of crack the tree here. There's a horrible cracking sound as the tree splinters and breaks in place. But no, there doesn't seem to be any change on the whispering whatsoever.
I shrug and rejoin my party as we walk through this whispering wood.
Are you walking? Is that the plan here?
I thought we were. Unless we just woke up, in which case I wait. Or
I sort of had this as you picked up on this while you were resting. So the things
Oh,
that
I
you're
see.
doing to investigate probably are taking place during the long rest. but for, mechanical reasons, you will still have the benefits of the long rest. If one of these trees decides to, slap you back, for example.
Very well.
Don't
I
panic.
did hit it expecting some sort of response, and since there was none, I returned back to my compatriots.
Okay.
If I
I
have
don't like it. Trees shouldn't talk to you. Trees should be silent. I told you I don't like this place.
I thought you were some sort of wild woman, no? Isn't nature and communing with it your specialty?
So wild woman. What's it gonna take to knock some respect into you? Besides, my specialty isn't talking trees.
What is it exactly? What is your specialty?
If you carry on, it might be knocking sense into wise-ass little monks. But for now,
Very well.
yes, Cyrus.
Oh, sorry. I bring out a bag from my bag, and I shake it up, and there's like a clattering within, and then I cast augury by emptying the bag with sticks and bones and other things, stone primarily,
Okay.
stone and bone and sticks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Explain to me what this spell does, and everyone else, and what you do.
Yeah, by casting whatever the thing I just did, I receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. The GM chooses from the following possible omens: wheel for good results, woe for bad results, wheel and woe for both good and bad results. Nothing for results that aren't specifically good or bad. The spell doesn't take into any account any possible circumstances that might change the outcome, such as the casting of additional spells or the loss or gain of a companion. Yeah. And I guess I'm just like thinking about walking through this wood and what the trees are and what will happen if we do walk through the wood.
How does woe register to you?
How does woe register for me? I think it doesn't surprise me. I think it I think that the world might just be only woe at this point. So yeah.
Give me an insight check.
Okay. $23.
Dead on. You're only ever going to get woe from this.
Cool. That's awesome. Stones. I start packing them away into the bag.
What's the matter?
Well, I thought perhaps I could see any good that was left, but I don't think there is.
See any good? What exactly do you mean? How? I'm curious.
Well, some people believe that these markings here and the way they fall can tell you a bit about where you might find yourself or what to expect, whether things are good or bad outcomes, really.
As channeled through your angel or god, correct?
Yes.
Well, I suppose if God is dead, it stands to reason it's not going to work now, will it?
Not all are dead. But I don't disagree with you.
Fair enough.
Maybe we just continue until one day woe is not all we see.
Has this ever worked before? This stick throwing that you've been doing for fortune telling, I wonder.
Sometimes my my housemates would occasionally do it.
I see. And when last you used it, how did it guide you? You see me looking at you inquisitively. My eyes on the forehead are closed for now. One opens and then shuts, as if trying to sleep.
The last time that I did this, I think, was before one of the, do you remember those sort of jobs that we were given together when we all first met?
How could I forget? Yes. How best to make guests useful. Or
Right.
whatever it was.
I threw the stones the night before our second job. I got woe then too, but now I know that it's means something different than I thought it did then.
I suppose woe has transpired since then in some way, shape or form now.
Guess you just really never know.
I guess so.
In any case, it seems these are probably going to be rather useless for the time being.
Very well.
Maybe once this is all over and we've saved the world, I can throw them again and see what we get.
Yes, quite. Once us four save the entire world.
Well, if we're still here, I assume it's because we've saved it.
Perhaps.
In any case, the trees, they're whispering.
They are. I can't make hide nor tail as to what exactly they're trying to say, but they are whispering. I'm not sure if they're talking at us, to each other. I've been trying to... There it is again. Been trying to see if I could get a pattern out of it or something, you know? See if they're coming from one way, going another, if it's spreading. One doesn't simply talk unless they're trying to talk to somebody. Or someone. Or something.
What if I get up? How are we sort of like done our rest at this point, do you think? Like we're near the end of it,
Yep.
probably?
100%.
Okay. I'm gonna get up and leave the bowl. And I'm gonna walk over to the tree and put my hand on it. I would like to see if I can hear what it's saying. I basically want to do what Seer did. I want to see if I can hear any discernible words with my hand on it.
A sleepy eye on my forehead opens up a bit wider and watches her. I fixed.
Yeah, well, here's what I'll do. I'll let you roll either an insight, an arcana, or an investigation check, or you can argue something else. Depending on which one of those you roll depends on sort of your approach to this, though. Investigation being like, can you determine an actual language, sort of using your brain?
Yeah.
Insight, sort of just trying to read the tree naturally. Arcana, trying to see if you can figure it out in terms of whether this is a magical thing.
Yeah, I think I'm going for insight just because I'm still in that headspace after just throwing the stones and everything.
Okay.
Kind of following that. 24.
24. And what was the question exactly?
Is every tree in this forest the house of knowledge? What are they saying? Are they the ones bearing the knowledge? Are the whispers the knowledge they bear?
They are... You get the sense that the trees are directing you somewhere.
Okay.
I don't think you can figure out. The other questions were maybe too specific for it. I want to feel this tree out, you know, get the tree's vibe. But I think with the 24, you definitely get the sense that it is. That's what's happening here. The trees are trying to whisper directions somewhere, in some way. They're trying to guide you in some way, whether it's good or bad, whether it's to the House of Knowledge, whether it's out of the forest, whether it's to something completely different. I don't think you know, but you definitely get that sense from what's happening here.
I start walking. I'm like in it now. So I start walking deeper into the forest, and I'm putting my hand on trees as I go. And I want to see if the whispers get louder or if I notice any difference the more I move in a certain direction.
Yeah, give me a perception or an investigation check.
16.
The tree that you touched, the whispers were louder. The three of you that could hear it would be aware of this. The further you move away, the quieter they get. Or really, I should say, the less trees are whispering.
Ooh, okay.
So, yeah, there definitely seems to be a sort of epicenter. And this does seem to be an area of trees that whisper. And then the rest of the, you know, you're sort of leaving it almost.
Got it. Okay. I walk back to everyone. And I kind of want to... they're louder here. They're telling us where to go. They want us to go somewhere.
I thought as much.
But I don't know if it's because... I don't know if... I think this is the right way. We shouldn't go that way. We should go this way. For now. And I point in the opposite direction of it being quieter, I guess.
So are you suggesting we go to where it's most quiet or where it's most loud?
I would say most loud, right?
Potentially.
Oh no, you're right. Maybe they get quiet because you're going the right way? No.
I wouldn't second guess yourself if I were you. Or would you?
Thrak, you can't hear anything?
No, I don't hear anything.
Jilden, what do you think?
Can't help but think anything with the capacity to communicate with us in this manner cannot be up to anything good.
I find it quite ironic that someone who prides himself on intelligence is deaf to the whispers of this house of knowledge. I chuckle to myself, and I
Perhaps that's
turns
just a sign
to
in
Ran.
itself
Perhaps.
that they are not the whispers of intelligence or knowledge.
In that case, what could they possibly be? Depravity. Desperation.
Maybe. Grief, angst, guilt. Anything.
Jilton.
What?
Have you ever known a tree to be bad? To be evil?
Child, I don't think your definition of evil is the same as mine.
Wishing us dead harmful? Have you ever known a tree to harm?
Can I roll for this?
Yep.
I'm trying to maybe arcane. I'm trying to like my druidic senses.
Yeah.
Perfect roll.
I'll
Perfect roll.
let you roll with whatever that is to you. Natural one.
Yes, trees have all sorts of personalities, you know. All of them. If you step on their roots, they get very angry at you. They're very angry at this one.
I point to Sia.
Climbing on them, snapping off what's left of them. Yes, that one over there, in fact, that one's been wishing for your death since the day you looked at it. Which was about yesterday.
Is that so?
I think I might remember. Did we uncover the knowledge that? I'm sorry if this has already been covered. Did we uncover the knowledge at some point that the tree of or the trees of this forest is all one organism? Or am I just coming up
No,
with
so
that
that
out of
was
nowhere?
that was in the one shot flashback last week. That's the forest of
okay.
Aedis, which is like way southwest of here.
Okay, right.
No.
Yeah, completely
These trees
different
won't
forest.
aid us.
Yeah, this is actually just for want of a better word, one of the more normal places in the world. This was a pretty normal forest as far as the world was concerned.
Right.
The Nolands Forest. It doesn't really belong to anyone or belong to any specific kingdom, and doesn't really have its own angel. It's just a pretty standard forest. It borders on another much more sort of like angelic, crazy forest, the one that's so unbelievably beautiful that you can't be there unless you're an elf for too long, because you'll literally go mad because it's just so stunning and it's like it overloads you. But that's
I'll
a
write you
little
a
further
postcard if
south.
I go.
Yeah.
Do I recognize the vague landscape, as in the mountain ranges in the north and the south?
Yeah, you would do. It's not really visible to you unless you sort of climb up to the top of a tree, though. You guys are still pretty close to where you came out of the mountain. You know, you guys haven't done a huge amount of travel here yet. You just kind of came out, had some conversations, threw the sheltering bowl down. So these whispering trees and this kind of area is pretty close to the mountains where that X was on the map. So yeah, it's kind of up to you if you recognize the area, whether you've been this far north before. Where you are from is sort of that unbelievable forest, but it's really far away, south of here.
I give Jilton a wry smile, and I walk towards a tree, and I whisper to it, saying, "I'm awfully sorry about your friend's branch. We're looking for a house of knowledge. You wouldn't happen to know where that is, would you?"
I tried to slyly cast Thorn Whip to just whip him around the ankle, as if it was a vine hitting him. I'm gonna see if I can do this stealthily. That is a 10.
My passive perception's 15. I know it's you.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast it anyway. So it still happens, but I imagine you managed to hop out of the way of it.
I think you need to make an actual attack roll. Cast it from the center.
Oh, yeah. I just assumed he would have hopped out of the way, that it wouldn't have actually done any damage.
Yeah, you can roleplay that if you want.
Yeah.
Oof, 8 points of piercing damage.
It wouldn't.
Okay.
I don't think.
I meant so
There's
just
a
for
DC.
clarification on your character sheet on the main page. If you cast it from the attacks and spellcasting thing, you should cast it with an actual like that. But just for future reference.
Yes.
I see the vine
Thanks,
coming
Myre.
towards my ankle, and like, thanks, Orcish. And with a subtle twist of my hips, I turn my feet 45 degrees and dodge the whip as it sticks into the ground and yanks a bit of the dirt out.
Yeah, the trees have called me to be their mouthpiece.
Have
They said they
now?
don't like your sarcasm.
Oh. Is that so?
It's my turn to be Myre. That's a spell save of 14. You got to roll before you can just magically dodge out of the way of an attack, Myre. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's about to cast Final Hour on someone.
I'm just getting in front of the YouTube comments, guys. Okay.
Well, in fairness,
It's
That's
a
what I
melee spell
do.
attack, not a spell
Don't
save.
worry,
so
you're going to be
she
about
missed.
3 years ahead of those comments. We
yeah,
always
in
get
fairness,
comments coming in. Just
I rolled it as an 11 to hit, so it would have.
Yeah, it didn't get my
Stunning.
DC. But I give Jilden another wry smile before looking back at the tree, turning my ear towards it and seeing if it does actually reply, because I wasn't being what she thought I was. I was actually being earnest here in this case, and I was listening to see if it was going to reply, or at least, do something.
okay, give me a perception or an insight check.
24.
It does reply. Or at least it feels like it replies, because when you speak to this specific tree sort of immediately whispers when you stop speaking back to you. But the language it speaks back to you in is not one that you understand, so it's it's I think as well, by the way, these whispers are hard to hear. Even when you're concentrating on it, it still feels like you almost can't, almost as if you can't concentrate on it. You do get the sense that it is as if you're able to somewhat communicate, but what it says is not something you understand, so,
Here's an interesting question, I suppose. So, we can't comprehend this language. However, much in the same way as somebody can speak Korean or somebody can speak Japanese or Russian, and you go, that's probably Japanese, Korean, and Russian, and you can more or less be right. Does it sound like it could be from anywhere I know about, or is it completely alien to me?
You three can give me investigation checks, and I'll give you answers based on those. Orcish is smiling because he's laughing at the fact that Myre thinks he speaks Japanese because he watches too much anime. Is that the joke that was forming in your head?
Nope.
Ah, one of those people. When you watch loads of anime and you truly believe you sort of speak Japanese a bit.
Ah, yeah, so desu.
Frank rolled an investigation check even though he can't hear the trees.
Sorry.
If you were able to hear them, you would actually know.
Yeah, but I can't.
That they were speaking
I'm
Korean.
sort of. I think I'm standing around like. I think I actually say, so should we go or?
Oh, hold on. We're figuring this out with the trees.
Cirrus, you speak Sylvan?
Ooh,
Do you speak?
I do speak Sylvan. Yes.
It almost sounds Sylvan, but it's not.
Okay.
It is maybe somewhere in that realm of languages. That like maybe a common denominator in the past, or maybe not. There's an element to it that sounds similar to the Sylvan language, which is also similar to sort of Elven, general Elven, and then there's kind of like the Drow sub-language, and there's kind of, that's that thing of, you know, how you can trace stuff back to like Germanic or like,
Yeah.
you know, or whatever. So there's sort of that kind of element to it, I think, that you might be able to pick up on. Sia, however, absolutely does not recognize.
Sounds like Japanese to me.
Yeah, they're speaking Japanese.
Okay.
Remember what Bibble said about you have to be Fae to be able to get into the House of Knowledge? It sounds like Sylvan, but it's not quite that. Perhaps like ancient in some way.
Oh, I don't suppose.
Maybe it's the language of the Fae.
I don't suppose any of you can speak Fae or comprehend such languages.
No. I can speak some Sylvan, but
I see.
do I know very much about the Fae at all?
Find out. You can roll me, I guess, a history check. Probably
17.
the best one. So Fae creatures in this setting are sort of immortal, sort of semi-immortal, I guess you would call it, species. They're kind of in their. There are mortals, which is what all of you are, orcs and humans and halflings and stuff like that. Then there is angels, which are these invincible, immortal things. And then there are the gods that presumably littered the world with these angels, or maybe these angels are like the children of the gods. There are kind of different interpretations. There are different angels that say different things. For example, one might reference one as my brother or my sister, whereas another might just not reference it in that way, in a familiar way whatsoever. So there isn't any hard evidence for the gods. Some people think there's a singular god, and all of the angels come from that. Some people think that there are all these different gods. Some people don't even think there are gods. They think that the angels, that the people of the world kind of projected this story, right? In between the angels and the mortals are a couple of different species in there. Things like demons and fae would be in there. So while they can be killed, they're immortal in terms of life. Or unbelievably long-lived. The most long-lived creatures that are mortal are dragons. And then above that, you find things like demons and fae and some other, you know, all the other bits and bobs that are in there. For the most part, fae creatures are sort of few and far between. They're very rare, but they're all about. They're all over the place. There's certainly plenty of them in Adis Forest, which would probably be your understanding of them. And they are all of your typical things like fairies and little nymphs and things like that. There are fae creatures like little pseudo dragons and stuff that are like kind of like weird little trickster creatures. And there are some kind of like there are some like evil fae things out there that'll mess with you and try and harm you, and you know, they're kind of alien in their thinking, so they will just come after you, like Rusalkas, I think they're called, which sort of lure you into water. For the most part, the elves would understand the fae as being very revered creatures, you know. Here, and Bibble mentioned specifically that the the creatures of the House of Knowledge that you are sort of trying to look for are predominantly Fae-based creatures, and that the predominant creatures that live in there are in fact Fae stags, which are exactly what you think they are, that thing from Harry Potter. I think you probably know what Fae stags are. I think you'd probably understand that, but I mean, it's kind of up to you as to whether you've had any real interaction with them.
Yeah.
Just putting what I'm just sort
have.
of glancing at what I wrote down about this all those many months ago when I came up with this. Unbelievably rare though. We're talking like no one you know has seen one, that kind of like thing. You know what I mean? Like what?
Okay.
It's just so unbelievably rare. But again, it's entirely up to you. You're perfectly within your rights to like write in that you've seen one or that whatever. But we're talking here just they're like cryptids basically of the world. So are demons. In fact, any of the things that are in that bracket of immortal beings that aren't on the level of angel but are also kind of higher than dragon or elves, they are cryptids. They're very, very rare. This isn't a setting where there are just like demons popping up every 5 minutes. You know, the Baldur's Gate guy shows up and brings you to a dinner in his nice big house, whatever that guy was called. Raphael, yeah. It's very, very rare, but not rare enough that it wouldn't be a thing that you would be able to write into your backstory or something like that if you wanted. So I don't know if that really answers your question. That's sort of all the information I have on them, really. Outside of specifics that you might have.
Okay.
Very Sylvan based, very, very forest based, the Fae creatures.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I explain some of that, and then I say, Thrax, since you can't hear them, but you know what we've said about it, what do you think we should do? Which direction should we go?
Well, I think our only option is to continue on. Unless someone has any other ideas.
I think she's asking in which direction, to the sound or from it?
We should go direction where we think where we think this place is. I don't know. We don't have any information, enough information to make a logical decision on the sound.
All right.
It could be good. It could be bad.
No, it can't possibly be good. Something trying to distract us, tempt us away. Some other creature.
Possibly.
Which direction is it?
Is what?
What,
The sounds.
Me? Sorry.
Yeah, when I walked into...
Well, I don't know, because I can't hear it.
Are you asking in character or are you asking me?
Yeah, in character.
Yeah. I point in the direction that I walked in as the voices got less and less, and then say that where we're standing right now, it's stronger.
And what
that
direction?
way it was less.
What
Yeah, I don't know, because I just said I walk into the forest and then it got less,
Well,
so I actually don't know.
I'll give you a little something here just to make it easier. It's kind of just an epicenter, so the further away from it you get in general.
Yeah.
So you're kind of in the middle. Think of it as sort of like a circle of it's louder or more prominent, or there are more of them speaking is probably what I would say, rather than it being louder. And that you just walk out of an epicenter of whatever, and less of them whisper to you until eventually none of them are whispering, because it was a group of trees back there, a large group, but that's what I think. I'm just going to give you that you figured that out. You know, you had
Yeah,
8
you
hours.
said epicenter, so I think I should have picked up on it also.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Permanently remove 10 HP from your action. No.
I have an idea. Sirius, do you want to go for a fly?
I'm sorry, what?
Would you like to fly above the tree line and have a look from a safe distance at the area where you can hear this sound?
All right. Sure. Okay.
Okay. I take out a tiny little fairy in a little green tunic out of my knapsack, and I sprinkle some dust on her, and she can now fly as long as she thinks happy thoughts.
Okay.
Wait, sorry.
I
Do you
don't
have a
think she's
fairy?
capable
Do you
of doing
actually?
that.
I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Because I was gonna be like, dude, that's a fae. We could just ask it where to go.
No. It doesn't talk.
He's just been carrying a sprite around with him this whole time.
I'm just a big Peter
like,
Pan
yo,
fan,
dude.
alright? Big Hook fan. I've got Julia Roberts in my little knapsack. No, I just walk up to you and I chant an incantation. And then I touch you on the forehead, and you instinctively know that you can fly, and you know how as well.
The large fist-sized
If you'd
spider
like
suspended
to-
between Sirius's horns twangs the web. Doing! At the sound and notion of fly.
Is it still living there? You know,
Yeah, it's just suspended in between her horns on a web.
okay.
It hasn't moved.
I'm getting rid of it.
You gain a flying speed of 60 feet for
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay.
When the spell ends, I would say this in character, when the spell ends 10 minutes from now, you will fall potentially to your death if you're too high in the air. Keep that in mind.
Okay. I kind of like leap off and jump into the air. And from where we're standing, I go just straight vertical.
What is your pose while you are flying?
Is
Um,
there one for
I got-
the fan art?
I've got like one hand up, like, yeah, and then, you know,
You're Superman.
I'm
You
Superman.
have one hand or two?
Very important.
Well, I've got one arm and one hand that is.
Well, you've got a
usable, and
little
the other
hand
one
as
is-
well. Is that one out?
No, it's like wrapped up and like scaled
Oh,
and
right,
like
okay.
small. So I'm not. It's not.
Flying like
not
Superman
really-
will give you a bonus to whatever check you're about to make.
I'm
so.
flying like
Oh,
Superman. So.
Okay.
You've only got one arm.
Superman flies with one
Superman.
arm. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
He only
Fine,
goes
did
two
too.
arms when he goes supersonic.
He goes 2 arms when he's really trying.
He's going real fast.
Yeah, when he
Okay.
has to,
God,
like,
Where's Greg?
jeez.
Fly
Oh my God.
through the sun and really, and you know,
Yeah,
when he
he's
has
real
to
trying hard. Yeah.
destroy the abomination.
Try hard RP
the,
Superman.
whatever his name is. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you are able to fly. What do you do?
Yeah, I fly up vertically to look down over the forest where we're standing, the trees that we're speaking, the epicenter, if I can notice any difference in shapes and forms.
Okay, give me an investigation check. We see Cirrus flying upwards. She flies through the branches of the trees, weaving back and forth through them, maybe getting sort of used to flying a little bit, and then propels herself upwards above the trees. We see her like look down. We see the sky. It's nighttime because it was like 9 p.m. right when you. Oh, actually no, it was 9 p.m. when you started this, and it's been 8 hours, so it's very early in the morning. It's still probably nighttime. But yeah, you fly upwards. You look down. Investigation check.
11.
11. I only ever hear 11 the way they said it in the movie where he turns the thing up to 11. My brain doesn't work. And he says 11.
We're aware.
I know it's extra bad this week. I was very concerned about GMing today. because I wasn't
It's
able
gone
to.
grey. It's gone
I wasn't able to form sentences earlier on, and I was like, "Uh-oh, the day I need to be able to speak the most." And my brain went, "You know what? Loopy mode. That's what you get tonight." Okay, great, loopy mode. An 11. You actually discern nothing, which is the answer. Which is the answer. It's not a fail. There really is no difference between this area of the forest that you're looking at, and we're talking about in looks, right? Because you're not.
Yeah.
You can't hear the whispers. You know, you're flying out far enough away that the whispers do stop. It isn't a thing that continues in a sort of column upwards. But you, it looks no different to any other part of the forest, and much like what Seer was able to ascertain, the forest just sort of spreads out in almost every direction, with the mountainside coming down around you and heading kind of south away from you as well. But it looks the same everywhere. There doesn't appear to be any significant parts of the forest. There are areas where you can see clearings. There are areas where you can see that there is water, and there was probably, in fact, there probably still is maybe little lakes or little rivers that move through parts of it. But it is just a dead forest. Nothing stands out to you. Nothing significant about this area looks different from a bird's eye view above it. You would certainly not, with your eyes, suspect this to be any different to any other part of the forest.
Okay. I fly back down before the spell ends.
Yep.
Well, I didn't really see anything. It all looks the same. So I suppose we move on, and for the rest of my life I will wonder what these trees were saying.
Very well. I would like to try one last thing before I just follow my compatriots.
Mm-hmm.
The trees
Oh, wait,
around
is
us.
the epicenter towards the northeast?
Yeah, it's kind of where
Well,
you are, where we
That's
gave
where
them.
we're
Yeah.
going.
The epicenter is where you are.
Oh, okay.
So where the X was on that map, where you stayed overnight. Not too far from the vault door, right? So you have like the mountain, the trees in this area, next to that mountain exit. In general, and there's an epicenter where it's not like there's one tree in the middle of it. There's a pretty big area where the whispers are pretty consistent, and then you eventually you leave the sort of area that is, we're going to just say, sort of a circle where it's predominant, and then they start to taper off. So it's in the on the map, because I have an actual piece of paper. I don't get to DM with paper as much as I used to because I do everything digitally now. But you are in the.
So, Grandpa.
You're in the. What do you mean? I do it digitally now. That makes me. I'm like Gen Alpha, dude. I'm 14, dude. What the hell?
Of course you are. Okay.
So this is in the northwest region of the general area that is known as the Nolands Forest and the House of Knowledge. Also, Leah, by the way, I'm aware that you have a map that has my markings on it, but that is irrelevant the way I've
I'm
marked.
staying out of it.
I know, I'm just giving you, because you have some meta knowledge, just because you are from somewhere near here, which has my general markings of the thing, but actually the area that says Nolands and the area that says House of Knowledge is all one big kind of forest, really. I just needed to separate it for my own notes when I was building this map. So don't think too much into that, because it's not really accurate. And that's not me trying to turn you off of the thing, because otherwise I would have just said nothing. Just because I know you're going to be like, I know where it is because I have the meta knowledge.
I know where it is.
Yeah.
Just follow me.
It just sometimes as well, sometimes when you think you have meta knowledge, you're like, I'll just stay out of the puzzle because I sort of secretly know where it is. So you're kind of in the northwest area. The area around what we're going to call the vault door is where these whispering trees are. Okay. So that's it. That's what we're giving. You know. That's what.
Now, what I would know in
Mhm.
character, perhaps. I obviously have a little bit of history with the southern area here, so I would infer that this is not where we want to be going. So, Jordan, I would put forth that we need to be heading north now, and we should not be staying where we are.
Yeah, south will certainly take you to either the Riverlands, or Arvendor is what I think it's called. Did I call it Arvendor? Yep.
Yes.
My own world that I created and named. Don't know some of the names of the places because there's so many of them.
It's what you get.
You think
Detail oriented.
Yeah. You ever think George R. Martin or Tolkien or whatever did that?
Why do you think the last Game of Thrones hasn't been written? He's just forgotten it all.
He's forgotten it all. Yeah.
He has to go back and read all his books every time. He's like, oh, for God's sake, I've forgotten it again.
My problem with Miss Light too. I have no idea what it was about either. Yeah, so Jildan proposes that you head north.
My final question or observation was going to be
Oh,
the
yeah, you-
whispers. Do they seem to be coming from just these trees? And if so, is it just the old growth, or there's small saplings that also seem to be murmuring, or is it just those trees?
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Investigation check. That's intimidation. I don't want to spook the trees. I want to just do this and roll a 10 anyway.
A 10. Your best guess is that it's coming from all of the trees, including the smaller ones and the saplings and things like that. It's quite hard to say whether the lesser foliage here, the dead sort of bushes and dead maybe vines, would have said so, because for the most part it's all been destroyed. Like the grass has turned to ash, which has kind of turned the soil to a weird ashen mulch. So it's pretty difficult to say exact specificity, but it does seem to be pretty much every tree, everything here.
Wild woman. Turtle friend.
Oh, I thought you couldn't possibly be referring to me.
I have called you this once before, right?
Yes, and I'm pretty sure your shins still hold the bruises for it.
Regardless, I say, rubbing my left shin with my right leg. You see that sapling over there? The one of the same kind as the tree next to it.
What about
You
it?
don't suppose we could uproot it and take it with us, and maybe perhaps, I don't know, have a closer and maybe a better idea of what the whispers are. At the very least, maybe perhaps if it grows louder, if it moves.
You want to kill this tree.
It's already dead, look at it. But
You
it
want
still
to make
speaks.
sure it's dead.
No, not quite. I want to uproot it if it is already dead or undead, and it's whispering. Perhaps if we take that sapling, the one there about the size
You want to
of...
take a young corpse with you to aid you on your journey. This is low even for you.
Well, I mean, I have an old one right in front of me. Why don't a young one too?
I'm not dead yet.
Well, I mean, that's it. Well, yet. Regardless, what do you think?
Suppose if a connection is formed, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for it to continue.
You wouldn't mind then?
You could do your own dirty work.
You're the plant wild thing, no?
So when have I ever had any sort of proficiency for plants?
Carry a stick with you wherever you go.
You carry a tabard with you doesn't mean you know how to sew.
Actually, I do. I sewed this.
I
You
walk
sewed
over to the
that.
sapling, mumbling.
It's ridiculous. I'm so sick of this.
Silk, actually.
Yeah, I guess I'll try and uproot this sapling.
I'm gonna say it's really easy. You don't need to make a check for it. This thing is very dead.
Hey, there you go. I almost throw it at him. That's what you want. Take
I try and
second.
receive it and then listen to see if it still speaks while uprooted.
Yes, it does.
Ah, there we go. I walk back to the turtle and jump and try and plant it onto her shell. Keep an ear out and let's go.
I'm not even gonna.
I'm sorry.
I like the image of a sapling on the
great
back of a
image,
shell
yeah.
enough to not even fight this.
It's so good.
Okay. Well, I guess
Seer just wants
we
us
move
all
on.
to be wearing hats. Like, I have a spider in between my horns. Jildan has a tree growing out of her back.
Hey, be careful. You might not like the things this thing tells me.
I wonder.
Okay, so you guys are heading north then?
North. Yep.
Yeah, you start heading north. Eventually the whispers of the trees start to become a little more dispersed, a little less prominent. Eventually they seem to stop altogether as you leave the area that seems to be where the whispering of the trees happens. The sapling is also no longer whispering when you leave that area.
I don't communicate this at all.
I suppose upon not hearing the rest of the trees, I go, well, whatever source of power was there, I suppose we're now away from, regardless of if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It feels wrong somehow. Like we were... just turning away information or guidance in some way.
Well, what do you want to do? You kind of are de facto expedition leader, no?
I don't know what the trees were saying, and I don't know where they wanted us to go, and we head north, as we are.
Did we not just head south away from the tree line?
No, we went north.
Okay,
Yes, as we've been discussing the whole time.
right.
Going north.
Just looking at the image.
Look, perhaps we find knowledge in this place that helps us understand what the trees are saying, so know whether we should avoid it anyway. Perhaps we'll end up back this way.
Maybe. I'm like really trying to pay attention to our surroundings and trying to keep an eye out for everything and anything that I see as we walk. I'm like keeping my ears perked to any sounds, symbols, etc.
Okay. Give me a survival check then.
17.
A 17. As you guys start traversing through this sort of dead forest, it's another situation where there's very little here. Aside from stumbling over some sort of hazardous logs or, some sort of twisted dead roots or something like that, there aren't that many dangers that seem to present themselves to you. Until roll me a d12.
Uh-oh.
My favorite.
11.
must be good, right? It's one off from the best.
There is an area of this forest where the ground gives way entirely. There is a chasm that appears, and I think as you guys are walking, Cirrus, you're not aware of this chasm until you're like right up on it, because the lip of this chasm goes over an edge. The other side of the forest floor is a little further down, so it creates this sort of bizarre optical illusion where, as you're heading towards it, you're not aware that there is upcoming this sort of just huge broken piece of land, a fissure and a split through the land, until the last second. And I think, Cirrus, you are the one that notices this, stops everybody, and then you're able to each peer over the edge of this very deep chasm that appears in front of you. It's bizarre the way this thing sits in this forest, this huge gap in the ground, as if something took the land and sort of cracked it like a loaf of bread and then just left it. It seems to have a bottom. It's probably dark, but we can say that you've been traveling. Maybe the sun is coming up a little bit and you get a little bit of a better view down here. There does seem to be an area at the bottom, but it does look as if the ground was snapped in a kind of a V shape, right? So you can kind of see that this thing, were you to fall in or whatever, it would be a great fall. You'd fall, maybe like 80 feet down before you would come to a bottom here. But it does look as if the land was literally cracked open in a horrible sort of jagged way that seems to stretch out from one side of you to the other. Besides the fall, besides anything, slipping over the edge or something, there doesn't appear to be any other danger in the area. There doesn't appear to be anything that has created this thing, and you get the sense that this has been this way for some time. However, you are going to either have to figure out how to go over it or potentially go around it. But you notice it just before you quite literally would have fallen in, I think.
Is it dark?
It is very, very like 6 a.m. Sunrise. We're going to say the sun is literally coming up, the first sort of pieces of light that are breaking through the canopy of all of these dead trees.
But can we see into this chasm?
Yes, just about.
What do I see? I also have heightened drow dark vision.
Yeah, it's just dirt. It's the earth.
Right.
There are roots coming out from some of the dead trees and things that break out. There's other bits of foliage from when it probably broke in the first place and was split and stuff fell in there. But nothing significant down there. No like creatures, no water.
Understood. Well, where to next then?
Good question. Suppose we could walk around it? Couldn't make us fly again, Thrak?
No.
Does the chasm look fairly new, like it's been rendered from the earth, torn apart, like a fissure, or is it quite an old looking?
It doesn't look brand new, but you can give me an investigation check if you want to try and get some time.
I do want. That's a nat one.
Brand new. This happened within the last few days.
This is
Can I
absurd.
also do an investigation check for the same thing?
This looks
Yes.
fresh.
Yes,
Like
you
it's
may.
just been rendered from the earth. God's own hand splitting it in two.
Absolutely no way. This probably happened 6 months to a year ago. Thrak. Based on whatever science I don't understand about how these things might have been formed,
Right.
but I think
Well, the sediment has settled.
the
which is
sediment
probably
settled,
most
the
normal.
foliage has settled. It looks like it's all kind of like,
Uh,
yeah, Yeah, settled is the word. Thank you.
I can't believe it. This must have happened yesterday.
Oh, was that so? Oh, Dirt Wizard.
So
Did you just
then
call her Dirt Wizard?
Yes, I mean, she's appraising the dirt, is she not one?
What do you
Yes.
want me to call you? That total mind wizard appraising me?
You know, it does roll off the tongue.
I'm going to stick a mirror to my back, so every time you're staring at me, you can just see yourself instead. But I suspect you might like that.
You might be correct.
I don't think this was recent. You see how the sediment is at approximately a 45-degree angle there. It's settled for some time. It's the most stable angle that anything will take. Pyramid.
It never seems he's a dirt wizard, clearly.
Quite so. I'm surrounded by dirt wizards, apparently.
I kind of can't
Right.
argue with them, Threk.
You can't argue with him that we're dirt wizards.
You specifically, I think.
You think I'm a dirt wizard?
No.
Do you have any
Sorry,
dirt spells?
It was a joke.
No.
Sorry, Threk.
None at all. Not move pebble or, you know, conjure mud slide or... I don't know.
Do you have a
Hmm.
scroll? Conjure mudslide?
Do I have a scroll? No. But if I did, I suppose you could use it and therefore become your true self, what you were destined to be, this dirt wizard. I think I have a new quest for
if you
saving
gave
the
me a
world,
scroll
Frank.
of mudslide, I would be a mud wizard. But I suppose a simpleton like you wouldn't understand the difference.
Wow, I'm sure. Dirt is way beyond my ken. What's so funny? You've got a literal piece of dirt growing on your shoulder, Tortle.
Actually, he's my friend now.
Oh, really? Okay. What does he say?
Yes. He says, I was right all along and you're just as insufferable as I thought.
What's his name?
You know what? I think I can
Sprout.
hear it now. He did say that.
Is that
Incredible.
so? Well, Sprout, welcome to the Quura. I hate you too.
What?
That's rude.
What? He said it first. Did you not hear it?
There's insufferability and hatred. How are we going to go for this thing anyway?
How are we going to get over
What's the
anything?
distance of this?
Roll me a
Roughly.
1d30 plus 10.
Oh, God.
Annoying when you
Do I
can't
just put
click the roll.
plus 10 after it?
Forward
does
slash
it-
r
can there be
space 1d30 plus 10. Yes.
No,
Exactly
no
like that.
space, okay.
Can put a space, but I'm not sure.
20.
20.
20 feet.
Oh, okay.
20 feet across. 80 feet down.
Right. I think we should walk around. No, I can get us across. I can
Oh.
get, well, actually,
Across the
Jildin,
dirt.
Yes.
do you have the ability to become some sort of flying creature?
I almost look a little embarrassed, actually.
Oh no.
No, that's ridiculous. Why would you ask that? Of course not.
Perhaps she lacks the upper body strength. You know, she can turn into one, but it can't flap.
Like a chicken.
Can you turn into a chicken?
Jildin?
A primordial
shelled
chicken.
turtle chicken.
I am literally a dinosaur.
A cockatrice. That would actually be terrifying.
No. But I can turn into a giant frog.
I wonder what the leap distance is of a giant frog.
Oh, that reminds me. Who has the frog ring?
A good
Frog
question.
ring.
The ring of
Speak frog.
you
think
don't
Jilton
want.
got
did
it.
anyone, did anyone attune to it?
I think
I don't
Jilton
think
did.
so. Never mind.
She didn't. She threw it away.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Oh.
I know because I have it.
Oh, you
Frog's
have it,
Friend
okay.
Band. Is what
Yes,
it
the
was
Frog's
called.
Friend Band is what I have.
Are you
She
attuned
threw it
to it?
away.
Well,
I
guess
know
wouldn't
because
know
I
that.
have it.
Point of order. A giant frog has a standing leap of 20 feet. I can
There
get
you go.
across.
Okay. Well, I'll
And leave us
assume.
here for good.
Did you say I can turn into a frog out loud?
Jilton
Yes.
did, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I assume that you said that because a frog has the ability to get across this gaping chasm, and then I will touch both. I will touch. Actually, has it been more than 10 minutes since we left the other clearing?
Yeah, it's been about an hour.
Okay. Then I will give Cirrus fly, and I will give Sia levitate, and I will say just drag him along behind you.
Do I get to ride a giant frog?
No. I can't carry your
No, I
weight.
was-
It's ridiculous.
Cirrus can just drag you along.
Yeah, you're
You
coming with me.
I love the idea of you with
levitate
rope
off the
around your
ground. You are off
waist
the
and you're just
ground right
being
now.
pulled. Like.
No, I'm holding his wrist firmly.
Oh.
with my big old hand. I'm holding his
Oh,
hand.
my staff.
I will misty step across.
Oh.
All right.
But
I shrug, look up, and just offer my left wrist.
I just drag him along over the thing.
Yeah. So one of you flies over, dragging Seer. One of you transforms into an absolutely grotesque giant frog.
yep.
With the
and I
face of a
stand there a
turtle.
while, wiggling my butt, trying to figure out like, the best, because this is going to be a real stretch. And then
What happens to
Boing.
the tree when you transform? Now, when you wild shape,
It's part of the look.
is it part of the look? You've got a little tree growing
It's
out the
actually
back?
quite grotesque. Yeah, it's like actual growing from the skin of this frog, like a sprout coming out of the top.
Incredible.
But it looks like one of those umbrella hats.
Antenna.
So it's like
One antenna.
I'm
a
obsessed.
circle at the top
It's,
of the head.
it's a full Totoro.
yeah.
We got the full Totoro.
And as I jump over, it's like helping propel me forward.
Does it spin around to try and give you lift?
Yeah. You
Mm.
made great friends. Anyway, sorry for derailing this entire campaign with bullshit, Brad.
Are you saying sorry now? How many weeks has it been?
Well, you
Wow.
know. I have to feel bad at some point, I suppose.
No, I love it. Keep consuming your wild shapes and spell slots.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to have any left when the big boss comes out, I'm
My
sure.
favourite thing
Except for one spell. It's called Final Hour. Have you heard of it, Brad?
Oh my god.
When you actually use it, it has to
Thrak.
make a sound like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and then like
Oh, we
that's
already.
how you know it's been cast.
Thrak
Sound
casts
for it.
Final Hour on himself after this session.
I'm done.
Frank's gonna
They
cast
call
it
me
out
Dirt
of
Wizard.
the game at Orcish. It'd be unbelievable.
Cost me.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Have you ever seen that TikTok where the guy looks at the screen and he goes, "Bloody hell!" and then it just goes bright white with the light. Like it's like someone turns on a light in his room, but it's just like a flashbang. It's so specific, that one, but if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That would be exactly what happened to Thrak.
Oh, I hope you turn Scottish.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's Scottish. I think but yeah, okay, so yeah, we get jiggle physics, wiggle, frog.
Sorry, what?
She said she like jiggle physics, wiggled
Yeah,
her
I'm
butt
like-
around.
You know, should I find like
okay.
a cat to jump like?
You know, it's a grotesque way, like
yeah,
those,
like it's not
like
cute.
those. My first blender.
Souls like frog.
This is
Yeah.
this is me right now.
Yeah, you're literally your own
Broken.
tattoo now. And yeah, you leap over the thing. You can do it easily. You fly over the thing. Thrak just and then appears with the misty step, and you're on the other side. Yeah, and I think nothing crazy happens. It doesn't like collapse in. You're able to sort of just continue onwards, I think. Are you looking, what are you guys looking for? What's the plan here? What are you hoping to stumble upon? You're just hoping to stumble upon the part of the forest which is potentially still alive and has an angel in it, something like that.
Yeah, we're just looking for the place that we're supposed to be going.
And what is that place and what does it look like?
The House of Knowledge,
Mhm.
where there is an angel that says, "Hey guys, Quura, thanks for coming. Waited for you for a while." Hey,
I hope
you
it's like that.
guys."
You get there and it's just the golden saucer. The guy, this angel is just like Master Roshi, but you know, he's got like glasses on and a microphone. Hey guys,
Welcome to the House of
welcome
Knowledge.
to the House of Knowledge. And he puts you in a play or something for the other Fae.
Winner, Gagnon.
Yeah, maybe in one of my other games. That is an Oracle's Rest thing. That's what would happen in Oracle's Rest, I think.
I could tell you what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking around this forest for any potential chests filled with scrolls, spell scrolls.
Okay.
I'm just hoping that you're asking us because this forest
One
just
will just magically appear. Oh, you think it's like a
magically
magic
appears
forest where
what we're looking for.
what you're looking for might show up.
I think
Okay,
we walked
roll me
away from it.
roll me a perception check.
Okay.
I think the trees talking to us was probably where we were supposed to stay.
There's a chest behind you. God, someone draw me that fan art of you guys like trying to listen to a tree and there's just an enormous
There's
chest filled with gold and riches.
Gilded
And
chest. 400
it's
spell
behind you,
scrolls. I would
all
know
of the
every
trees.
spell.
Behind you, look around, turn around. An
all they're
18,
saying.
roll me a d20.
Okay. I can do that. I am capable. Of 16.
16, no chests.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, you get the
So,
sense that there are no chests in this whole forest.
Damn it.
No one lives here.
Well,
Why would there be?
what's the bloody part?
So I'm
all right.
not aware of, necessarily what a spectral stag looks like. I've never seen one before, but I am quite aware of, the fact that this forest is so quiet. So quiet that the only noise, we can hear a pin drop because nothing else is happening. Nothing else has happened. If we weren't here, nothing else would have happened. I'm listening to see if maybe perhaps there's anything else around us, any creature that could be moving, anything at all, because I feel as if anything at all happens, then it is out of the ordinary, and so my attention would be on it, and I would likely guide my compatriots to it with a passing glance, maybe a shitty remark.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe.
give me a perception check as well.
A perception check.
Yeah, let's see if all of your dreams come true on a perception
22.
check roll. Roll me a d12.
A d12. A 1.
Oh.
Cool.
It's an undead dragon with frost breath.
Your elven eyes start peering around, looking for a spectral phase stag or, something close enough. You do see something spectral. You see something sort of maneuvering through some of these dead trees, fully dead trees. There wasn't a Freudian slip. They are dead. They're not all undead trees whispering to you.
Oh, Jesus. They all uproot.
What you do see, however, is an undead creature.
Oh.
Give me a... I guess a nature check would make sense. To see if you know what this is.
From
Could I point and
all
say,
of us?
hey, what's
no,
that?
just the one
Okay.
person with elven eyes. Full-blooded elven eyes.
I only rolled a 5.
Yeah, you have no idea what this is then. So, to describe what it looks like to you. There is a sort of a shadowy figure that is flickering in and out of your view. A sort of indistinct shape becomes distinct as you start to recognize a sort of humanoid form. You also recognize sylvan ancestry between you and this sort of creature. There is a ghost of an elf of some kind, you would suggest, meandering through and flickering in and out of sight, directly north of you in the direction you're heading, but it's very far away. This is the type of thing that you are picking up on. You know, it's doing that crazy zoom through the forest here, and you're just seeing this thing. You see one of them, you see two of them. They flicker in and out of your view, and just they just flicker in and out of corporeality. This is not immediately a combat encounter or anything like that, but you do get the sense that these things are ghosts. They're undeads of some sort. It doesn't always mean a bad thing. Undead things have been around since before this campaign. Ghosts and zombies and things have always been about. However, with the situation with the world, you guys are probably significantly on the lookout for undead things. But I think, yeah, Seer, you're the only one who kind of makes this out, because you're that far away from it that only Seer would sort of possibly be able to see it. I know that Cirrus has sort of semi-elven eyes, but the dragon-born blood certainly doesn't give you the full elf optical zoom that you need. So yeah, you're able to sort of recognize there are some spirits up ahead.
I think you'd hear
but
me
it's not the face
mutter
tag.
to myself, that figures the dead would be here too. I think if anybody paid to hear me out, they'd see me looking in that direction, all of my eyes open and fixed in that one location. But otherwise my body language is lax.
Did you say that out loud about figures
Yes.
there'd be dead here too?
I did.
Do you see dead?
I see dead people, yes, over yonder. And I think when I turn my head slightly, maybe 25 degrees to look at you, my eyes are looking at you, but as I turn, the same way if I look at my camera and I look to my right, my eyes are looking at you. As I turn my head to look at you, my eyes on my forehead are still fixed on the periphery in the distance where those creatures were.
So cool. Are they dangerous? Do you know?
I tap my forearm once before shrugging, and I go, perhaps.
Are they like the dead that we've seen so far?
No. They don't seem to be here. I haven't dabbled with the dead myself. I've read about them. I mean, who hasn't? But no. At least from here, I'm not sure if they have a true form. But that doesn't mean they can't harm us, the same way elementals can harm us from the different realms, the different planes.
Right, of course. I'm just wondering if where the dead are is where they were once alive, meaning they would have congregated there for a reason, right?
perhaps I detect, for lack of a better term, kinship between them, so I think maybe perhaps these might be the Sylvans we seek.
Can I try to remember if there's anything that Thor's told me about this area that I should be keeping in mind that I've forgotten? Because I can't remember if he said anything, like any advice or instructions. I think there was nothing, actually, but I can't remember.
Yeah, roll me a d20.
17?
I don't believe he gave you any sort of direct information about this area. I will,
I didn't think so either, but I just was afraid that maybe I was forgetting that he said something.
yeah, I'll consult my notes, for just before you guys left. Yeah, I don't think he gave you any sort of information about that kind of thing. And for this area, because I don't think Thor's has been here. He's never been this far.
Yeah.
A lot of his information that he works off is from scouts and hearsay over the many years. You know, he's got stories that were passed down from his father, and his stories passed down from his father's mother, and that kind of thing, that he would probably mention and talk about from time to time. But yeah, I don't think he's got anything for you when it comes to these kinds of things.
Yeah. I kind of like, I huff. And I sit down on the ground and put my hands into the soil. No, I mean not into the soil, but I put my hands on the ground. My hand, palm down. And I'm not really like doing anything, but I'm just kind of thinking. Like, so far, we've had a destination that we had to get to, a place that we needed to be, and we had an idea of where we needed to go, and now we're kind of here, and everything's dead, and there are trees that are telling us to do something, but we don't know what they're saying, and there's dead walking around, and we don't know what they're doing, and I'm feeling very like, how are we supposed to how are we supposed to save the world? Like, I don't even know what we should do, where we should go now. And I'm, yeah, having a little tantrum about it. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You can roll me a d20 for that if you want.
My tantrum? How intense is your tantrum?
Not quite the reaction that I would
4.
expect for someone who just saw a ghost, but...
Okay, a 4. You have a tantrum, yeah.
What?
I don't understand. I don't understand where we're supposed to go. This place doesn't... It feels like we could just walk around for forever, for 100 years, and never find what we're looking for.
It sort of reminds me of Wendigo Peaks, doesn't it? I mean, we walked there for about 2 weeks. What was it for? Before we got out of there. It's only been an afternoon. What's wrong?
I feel lost.
Well,
Doesn't feel right.
I suppose in one way or another we kind of are lost, aren't we?
Imagine we went through everything and then just ended up in this forest and never found. For all we know, the House of Knowledge doesn't exist.
Are you giving up?
No?
It sounds awfully like the language of somebody who wants to throw in the towel.
No, I'm just thinking out loud,
Mhm.
Seer.
Oh, keep thinking out loud.
I defrog.
You're wonderful.
Sorry.
You're just a frog sitting there,
I was
watching
representing.
them, your eyes darting between them.
Must you do that in public?
Look, there's an old adage, something about if you don't know where you're going, it's because you're not following someone else's path. It's quite obvious we're not following some route that somebody else has already carved out for us.
No,
And-
I don't think. Well, we're saving the world, are we not? Who's done
Just
that before?
Perhaps further proof that we are.
Is there a relatively small, like open clearing, maybe like not very big, just maybe 10 feet, something nearby?
Yeah.
Okay. I will walk over to it and I will draw a arcane symbol on the ground, and I will sit down and close my eyes, resting my staff across my legs, and I will try to see if I can sense any sort of arcane energy.
Okay. Are you casting a
Is he
spell?
giving up too?
I'm not casting a spell, no.
Exactly.
I'm just doing an arcana check to see if there's
What's
any
your
arcane
wisdom?
energy around.
You can do that. A 9.
Oh, it's a poop rock. I see.
There is sort of faint traces of arcane energy in this area, but it's nothing significant and nothing that really gives you any direction.
Okay.
The problem with, I think, with what you're attempting to do is you have no direction. You know, it's a bit like just trying to pick a molecule out of the air. You know, it's just, there's just endless amounts of different possible ways that could go. There's different types, there's different they're moving around, everything's going crazy, so there's sort of too many moving parts. If you're trying to discern, because you're a wizard, you're trying to discern any sort of magic, you're sort of just going to find magic. So you do find trace elements of magic here, but like what they might be part of and what they might be interacting with, I don't really know yet. It maybe gives you the idea that you could study the area, or maybe it gives you the idea that you need to. It's almost like finding a thread and pulling on it a little bit and just seeing where it would lead. But it might just lead to nothing. I mean, the whole world has been blighted by a sort of angelic level of, divine magic. So it could just be that you're picking up on. There might be more to it, but yeah, there's nothing sort of significant that stands out to you, or at least you're able to discern without, I don't know, more clues or more information or more of an idea of what you're looking for, really. Trying to find magic is a bit like trying to find air, right? You can find it, but magic's everywhere.
Yeah, I was looking for like a strong magic, but if there's nothing that stands out, then I guess there isn't any.
The
Yeah,
amusement.
sure, if that's how you
from-
want to read that note.
I think the amusement from Seer's face drops as he sees his party in some sort of a disarray. It's not quite frustration, it's more just, I guess, the game is over. He sighs, or I sigh. I pull out my godwood branch, and I say, look, yes, we're lost. No one's been here before, that's obvious. Everything is dead. The way I see it, we have 3 options. I take out my branch, and I score it 3 times in the dirt. Number 1, we keep walking out into the expanse, but we haven't been. Maybe we find something, maybe we don't. Either way, we have no idea. 2, the trees were quite literally talking to us. You see 3 spiders now on the lines. One lights up, then the other, then the other. As one goes on, the other one turns off, and they kind of strobe in a direction. We could always follow that path. Otherwise, those ghosts were going in one direction as well. We have 2 known paths into the unknown, and one path we're carving ourselves into even more bleakness. I look to Cirrus. You've been leading us since. What do you think? My arms aren't behind my back or anything. I'm just standing there.
I don't know which way is right. What if I pick the wrong way?
What if you pick the right way? If it's the wrong way, then sure, we'll just kill whatever it is or solve it and then go on our merry way and chalk that as time well spent bonding or something.
Not like
What
we have
about
any
you?
better ideas.
Yeah. What about you, Seer? Which way would you go?
Seer does this thing every now and then when you talk to him. Taps his arm, points to the ground. Maybe his eyes blink out of sync. I think he looks at you with his head tilted. It's, you know, like he's confused. I'd follow you. That's what I've been doing since. There is no right answer. I think I just pointed that out.
Yes, but what do you think? What feels right to you?
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? The spider between your horns twangs the web again. There is no right answer.
I know, but
Answer the damn question, boy.
what
I grin and
feels
Nick only boy again.
what feels best for you? What feels good to you?
I walk up to you. I look up. Again, I'm what? 5'2". And I reach into your pocket and take a silver coin. Heads ghosts. Tails trees. I flip it. It lands on my hand. I cover it, and I point it to you to roll a 1d2. One is heads.
Mm-mm. 2.
And there is our plan.
Can you remind me? Tails was trees. heads was ghost? Which one?
I wonder. I say with my hands behind my back.
Wait, no. Seer, you can't do that. You have to. What was it?
A nice day we're having. How much sun is it?
Oh my god. Seer,
What?
we're Quura for a reason. I'm asking you because where I fail or I falter, you or Jildan or Thrak take up the place. That's what we do. We support each other. When one of us doesn't
Tails
know,
was
the other one
ghosts.
does.
Serious.
Tails was ghost. Okay. All right.
I blink really slowly. Really slowly. And I say, was it?
Ugh. And then I just start walking in the direction that you were looking when we were discussing ghosts.
I follow her.
I crack him in the shins with my staff and follow Cirrus without looking at him.
I set his little spiders on the ground on fire and walk away.
Okay.
They perish.
The
They perish.
the plan is to find the ghosts.
Yeah, going in the direction of the ghosts.
All right. Well, the ghosts have already found you.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
That's where we're going to end
Oh.
our session today.
I love how long it took us to
Alright.
get really nowhere.
You're doing fine.
Nothing.
Don't worry. You're doing just fine.
Hmm.
Normally I would cut to our outro and it would suddenly do this. But I'm not doing that right now because I want to quickly shout out the fact that we have a new show starting up, a short run series of a show called Ungodly. Except this one's called Ungodly 2. Return of You Know Who. Pony Punch. It has one person from the screen here in it.
Leah.
Leah will be in that show.
I'm not funny enough, sorry.
She's in every.
That's true.
And that is at noon Eastern on Friday, so it's an early one, which means people from EU, which are all already asleep, but might be watching this VOD tomorrow, will actually be able to watch a Tablestory show live. It'll be 5 p.m. UK time, or in Europe, whatever that is for wherever you are in
6
Europe.
p.m.
6 p.m. for a lot of Europe, but someone's not thinking about Eastern Europe, aren't they? Two hours.
Could be 7.
So
Be 7.
rude.
I'm very excited for it.
8.
I will be there.
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
So
I will
that
also be
is
watching.
that is the return of Ungodly,
watching.
GM'd by PB. If you want to watch that, we'll see you there for that one. Otherwise, we're going to head off here and we're going to record a green room recording. If you want extra lore, extra chit chat, extra behind the scenes DM stuff, myself and the cast here, we record a thing that we call the green room every week. Which you can watch. It's usually a 10 to 15 minute chat. Last week was really long. It was like a 20-minute one because we didn't have to get Leah out. Leah always, in between
we
me
chatted
ending this one
forever.
and starting the green room content, Leah is like, can we hurry up, please? I've got things to get on with. So we were able to chit chat. So
This is
last week, just by pure chance, just so happened to be an extra long green room thing. And we just sort of chat about stuff. There's all sorts of bits and bobs in there. I drop some little bits of lore. The guys talk about their different characters and motivations and things that happened in the session. Sometimes we don't talk about anything at all. We just talk about the weather and the recording. And those are available on our membership page. Which you can find at merch.tablestory.tv. If that's correct, I'm going to be blown away. Yes, got it right. My brain is seriously failing me this week. I can't believe that I've managed to GM a session. And those go for all of our shows as well. We record those for all of the shows that we've got going this year, as of this year. So you won't find them for shows that we did 5 years ago, but you'll find them for Gatewalkers and this and presumably ungodly, and we've got them for Blade Runner and things as well. So yeah, remember that is available. We're going to go and record that right now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you
And there's a
next
shill show on
week.
Saturday. Watches, keep the lights on.
There's a shill show on Saturday. Thank you for reminding me of that as well. Is that this Saturday?
And tomorrow there's a
It is,
watch
isn't it?
party
Yeah.
in the Discord.
And tomorrow
Like
there's a watch
Nocturne.
party in the Discord. Orcish is watching through Nocturne in the Discord channel. Live, what time?
5 p.m. Eastern.
5 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 UK time, right? 5
NU
hours.
times, 11 Mirggles time.
All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Wait, am I in the Friday thing?